If you are over 60 years old, there are 5 fruits, yes, fruits, that could silently raise your risk of stroke while you sleep. No warning, no pain. One moment, you feel fine, and the next, your arm will not move, your speech is slurred, or your vision is doubled. This is not about junk food, not about smoking, or lack of exercise. It is about something millions of seniors trust every day, something that seems healthy. But under the surface, it can become dangerous, especially at night. As someone who has cared for the aging brain for over a decade, I have seen this too many times. People doing the right thing and still ending up in the emergency room because of what they eat after dinner. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through 5 everyday fruits that may raise your stroke risk, especially if you take common medications or already live with blood pressure or heart issues. Most importantly, I will show you how to enjoy these foods safely without fear and with full understanding of how your body changes after 60. What you learn today could protect your brain for years to come. Let's get started. Bananas. Heart, healthy by day, risky by night. Bananas are often praised as the perfect fruit. They're soft, easy to chew, high in potassium, and widely recommended for heart health. For many older adults, eating a banana feels like one of the safest, healthiest choices they can make. But here's what most people over 60 aren't told. Bananas, especially when eaten in the evening, can quietly turn into a hidden risk for your brain. And for some, that risk becomes a life-changing event. Let me tell you about Robert Miller, age 73, a retired firefighter from Arizona. Every night after dinner, Robert had the same routine: a mug of chamomile tea and 2 ripe bananas. He believed it helped with his blood pressure and kept his legs from cramping. But one morning, his wife found him collapsed on the bedroom floor. His speech was garbled. He couldn't lift his left arm. Robert had suffered a stroke during the night without a single warning sign. After a full medical review, the cause became clear. Robert was on lisinopril, a common blood pressure medication. Combined with the high potassium in 2 bananas, his blood pressure had dropped too low while he slept. His sodium levels were off. The result? A silent, preventable stroke. As we age, our kidneys become less efficient at processing excess potassium. Add in overnight dehydration, slower circulation, and certain medications, and you create a dangerous environment where even a healthy fruit can turn harmful. Bananas are not bad, but like many things in life, it's all about timing and balance. Too much potassium at night can slow the heart, weaken your pulse, and lower your blood pressure to the point where your brain isn't getting enough oxygen. The result? Brain damage that often goes undetected until it's too late. Robert survived, but his independence did not. He now walks with a cane, struggles with speech, and can no longer drive. His life was forever changed by a simple nighttime habit he thought was helping him. Here's what I want you to remember. For most seniors, half a banana in the morning is perfectly safe. But eating bananas at night, especially alongside blood pressure medication, could set the stage for something far more serious than a bedtime snack. If you enjoy bananas, talk with your doctor, ask about your medications, and make sure that what you think is helping your heart isn't quietly hurting your brain. Pineapple, the sweet fruit that thins your blood. Pineapple feels like a gift from nature. Juicy, refreshing, and sweet. It's often seen as a smart dessert choice for seniors trying to stay healthy. Many people eat it for its anti-inflammatory benefits or drink it to help with digestion. But what most older adults don't know is that pineapple contains a powerful enzyme called bromelain. And for anyone on blood-thinning medications, it can pose a serious hidden danger. Let me introduce you to Carol Jennings, age 82, a retired librarian from Vermont. Carol had always taken care of herself. She took daily walks, managed her medication schedule, and drank fresh pineapple juice every morning after reading it could help with arthritis. Then one day she began having headaches, nausea, and trouble with balance. Her son thought she had the flu, but a CT scan revealed something more serious, a small brain bleed. Carol hadn't fallen. Her blood pressure wasn't out of control. She hadn't changed her medication. So what caused the bleed? It was the pineapple. The bromelain in pineapple thins the blood naturally. And Carol was already taking a low dose of aspirin for her heart. That combination quietly weakened the small vessels in her brain. One tiny vessel burst and the damage was done. This isn't about blaming the fruit. This is about understanding your body and your medications. As we age, the margin for error becomes smaller. What once was harmless can become risky when mixed with blood thinners. Carol survived, but her life changed. She now needs help getting in and out of the shower. Her memory comes and goes, and her daughter now checks every label in the refrigerator. I thought I was doing something good for myself, Carol told me, her eyes full of emotion. I didn't know a fruit could thin my blood too much. If you're taking aspirin, Plavix, warfarin, or any other blood-thinning medications, be cautious with pineapple. A few bites on occasion are likely fine, but daily consumption, especially in juice form, could quietly set the stage for trouble. Ask your doctor. Check your medications. Pineapple isn't bad, but for some people, too much of a good thing can become a real threat. Grapes. Sweet on the outside, risky on the inside. Grapes are easy. They're portable, bite-sized, and feel like a smart snack, especially for older adults trying to avoid processed sweets. And yes, they contain antioxidants. But what many people don't realize is that grapes, particularly the seedless, extra sweet varieties in most grocery stores, can cause sharp spikes in blood sugar, especially when eaten at night. Let me tell you about Walter Jameson, age 76, a retired postal worker from Indiana. Every evening, Walter would sit down to watch television with a big bowl of grapes. Better than cookies, he said, but over time, he started waking up confused. He struggled to remember conversations. He felt dizzy in the mornings and his vision would blur off and on. He thought it was just old age catching up with him, but after a brain scan, we saw the truth. Walter had experienced multiple silent strokes, tiny disruptions in blood flow that damage brain tissue slowly without dramatic symptoms, and they were likely triggered by his nighttime sugar habit. Grapes are high in fructose. When eaten without anything to slow digestion, like protein or fat, they enter your bloodstream quickly. This leads to a rapid spike in blood sugar followed by a crash. For younger people, the body can handle this. But in older adults, especially those with prediabetes or blood pressure issues, this roller coaster can inflame delicate vessels in the brain. The result? Microstrokes, memory loss, confusion, and eventually loss of independence. Today, Walter no longer lives alone. His daughter had to hire part-time help. He struggles with short-term memory and says he wishes someone had told him sooner. Grapes aren't bad, but they are concentrated sugar, and sugar, especially late at night, can quietly inflame the brain. If you love grapes, pair them with a handful of almonds or a slice of cheese. Never eat them by themselves, and avoid eating large portions after dinner. You're not giving up a fruit. You're gaining back control over your health. Watermelon. Cooling your body, but risking your brain. Watermelon is the very picture of summertime comfort. It's juicy, sweet, and full of water. Over 90% to be exact. For many seniors, it feels like the perfect choice after dinner. It's light. It's hydrating. It even seems good for blood pressure. But what most older adults do not know is that watermelon, when eaten at night, especially in large amounts, can quietly create a dangerous combination in the body. And for those on blood pressure medication or diuretics, it can increase the risk of a silent stroke while sleeping. Let me tell you about Dolores Reed, age 79, a retired music teacher from Alabama. Every evening during the summer, she made herself a generous bowl of chilled watermelon. She said it helped her cool down and sleep better. Dolores was also taking a diuretic and a beta blocker for mild heart failure. She had no idea the fruit she loved could be working against her. One morning, Dolores woke up unable to balance herself. Her speech was slurred, and she struggled to sit up in bed. At the hospital, scans showed she had experienced an ischemic stroke sometime during the night. She didn't feel it coming. She hadn't changed her routine. She went to bed feeling fine and woke up with her life forever changed. Watermelon contains an amino acid called citrulline, which helps relax and open up blood vessels. On its own, that might sound like a benefit, but in an aging body, especially one already supported by blood pressure lowering medications, too much vasodilation can cause your blood pressure to drop dangerously low, especially overnight when hydration is naturally reduced. Add to that watermelon's natural diuretic effect, it makes you urinate more. Now imagine what happens when a senior goes to bed having eaten a large water-rich fruit while already taking medications that flush fluids and lower pressure. By the middle of the night, blood pressure can dip so low that the brain no longer gets enough oxygen. That's exactly what happened to Dolores. The result? A stroke that left her using a walker and unable to play the piano she once loved. Watermelon isn't evil, but timing, portion size, and your medical background all matter more than you may realize. What cools your body down in the evening might also be cooling your circulation. Too much. And your brain depends on stable circulation to stay sharp, functional, and alive. If you enjoy watermelon, here are a few safer habits. Eat it earlier in the day, ideally before 4 p.m. Keep portions small, especially in the evening. Avoid combining it with other hydrating foods or blood pressure meds. Drink water separately throughout the day to support better balance. Dolores told me something I'll never forget. She said, "No one told me fruit could work like medicine or like poison." And that's the truth. In the right amount, at the right time, fruit can nourish you. But in the wrong context, even something sweet can silently take something precious away. Choose wisely. Ask questions. And listen to your body. It's always speaking. Sometimes we just need to learn its language. Fruit juice. The healthy choice that can harm your brain. We have all seen the ads. A smiling senior lifts a glass of orange juice to start the day. The label on the bottle says 100% natural, no added sugar, heart healthy, safe, smart. But what those labels do not say is how your body changes after the age of 65. What they do not tell you is that for older adults, especially those on medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes, that innocent glass of juice can quietly spike your blood pressure, inflame your brain, and increase your risk of stroke over time. Let me share the story of Marvin Ellis, age 84, a retired train conductor from Illinois. For over a decade, Marvin started every morning the same way: a piece of whole wheat toast and a tall glass of no sugar added orange juice. He believed he was doing everything right. But then Marvin started experiencing sudden episodes of dizziness, a racing heart, and flushing in his face, especially in the early mornings. His family thought it was dehydration or just aging. But something didn't sit right. When we reviewed his medical tests, his morning blood pressure was fluctuating wildly, his blood vessels showed signs of inflammation, and a recent brain scan showed he had experienced a mini stroke, something he hadn't even realized had happened. He blamed his brain fog on getting older. The truth? That daily glass of juice was shocking his system like a sugar-loaded energy drink. Here's why. Most fruit juices, even 100% natural ones, are highly concentrated sources of sugar, especially fructose. The juicing process strips away the fiber that slows digestion in whole fruit. What's left is a liquid that hits your bloodstream fast and hard, and that sugar spike, especially on an empty stomach, can lead to a sharp rise in blood pressure followed by a crash. For younger bodies, this spike and crash pattern might not cause long-term harm. But for seniors, it's a different story. The blood vessels become more fragile. The heart responds more slowly, and many are already taking medications that change how sugar and fluids are processed. The result? Stress on your cardiovascular system, silent inflammation in the brain, and in some cases, strokes that appear without warning. Marvin never saw it coming. He thought juice was a safer choice than soda, but for his aging body, it became a daily jolt that wore down his system. After cutting out juice, adjusting his breakfast, and increasing hydration with water, his symptoms faded. But the memory loss and balance issues from the stroke never fully went away. I just wanted to do what I thought was healthy, Marvin said. I didn't know it could turn against me. That is the message I want every older adult to hear. Just because something is natural does not mean it is safe for every body at every age. If you enjoy fruit, eat it whole. Keep the fiber. Skip the glass. If you are used to drinking juice, start by replacing half your serving with room temperature water. Eat a protein-rich breakfast alongside it, never on an empty stomach. Slowly reduce your reliance on it and replace it with whole fruit like berries, apple slices, or melon in the morning. And always check with your doctor, especially if you're on medications that affect blood pressure, blood sugar, or hydration. Fruit juice might be marketed as a health drink, but for seniors, it can quietly do the opposite. Protect your brain. Hydrate with care. And never stop asking, is this truly good for my body now or just something that used to be? Because you deserve to feel clear, balanced, and strong, not just today, but every day moving forward. What to eat instead? Nourishing the aging brain the right way. After hearing how 5 everyday fruits can quietly raise your risk of stroke, blood pressure spikes, and brain inflammation, it's natural to feel overwhelmed, even a little afraid. You might be wondering, if even fruit can turn risky, what is safe for me to eat? That's a fair question. And here's the truth. You don't need to fear food. You just need to understand how your body changes after 60 and what it truly needs now. The foods that nourished you at 30 may no longer serve you the same way at 70. Your digestion slows. Your kidneys filter less efficiently. Your metabolism and hydration need shift. But that doesn't mean you need a complicated diet or expensive supplements. You need something much simpler: balance, timing, and real nourishment. Let me tell you about Margaret Lane, age 73, a retired nurse from Colorado. When she first came to my clinic, she was frustrated. She had a drawer full of supplements: vitamin D for bones, niacin for cholesterol, multivitamins, even powdered superfruit mixes she added to her morning smoothie. But despite all of that, she felt awful. Dizzy most mornings. Foggy-headed by mid-afternoon. Her blood pressure numbers were unpredictable. She told me, "I'm doing everything the books say to do. Why do I feel worse?" We sat down and cleared her routine. No more guessing, no more powders, no more sugary juices. We built her meals around real, whole foods. Simple ingredients her body could recognize and use. Her new breakfast: 1 boiled egg, half an avocado, a slice of whole grain toast, a small handful of blueberries, and a glass of room temperature water. That's it. Balanced protein, healthy fats, complex carbs, gentle hydration. Within 2 weeks, Margaret reported that her brain fog had lifted. She no longer felt dizzy when standing. Her thinking was sharper. But more importantly, she felt calm and in control, no longer at the mercy of sugar crashes or mysterious symptoms. This is what I want for you too. So what does a truly brain-safe plate look like? Leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula, and Swiss chard are packed with folate, vitamin K, and antioxidants that help slow cognitive decline. Fatty fish. Salmon, sardines, and mackerel contain omega-3 fatty acids that reduce brain inflammation and support heart health. Aim for 2 to 3 servings per week. Berries. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are low in sugar but high in polyphenols, compounds that protect brain cells and support memory. Nuts and seeds. A small handful of walnuts, almonds, chia seeds, or ground flaxseed offers vitamin E and magnesium, both crucial for brain and nerve function. Whole grains. Steel-cut oats, quinoa, and whole grain bread help maintain steady blood sugar and circulation, reducing stress on your brain and heart. The key is combining real fiber, natural fats, and slow-release energy to avoid spikes and crashes in blood sugar and blood pressure. Two of the biggest hidden triggers of silent strokes in older adults. And no, you do not need to eat perfectly. You do not need to give up the foods you love. You just need to approach them differently, with mindfulness, with balance, and with a deep respect for how your body works today. If you still enjoy fruit, that's fine. But now, you'll eat it with a source of protein or fat. You'll choose the right time of day, earlier, when your metabolism is stronger, and you'll eat with intention, not out of habit. Margaret still eats fruit. She still enjoys a small glass of juice once in a while, but now she does it wisely, with awareness, with control. As she told me recently, I didn't need to give up food, I just needed to give up fear. Now I finally understand what my body was trying to tell me. That's the gift of awareness. And that's what I want for you. You don't need trendy diets or miracle pills. You need real food, balanced meals, a routine that's kind to your brain, your heart, and your future. Your plate can be your protection, one simple choice at a time. Reclaiming control, one choice at a time. If you have stayed with me this far, I want to thank you, not just for watching, but for caring. For choosing to learn, for taking a brave step toward protecting your brain and your future. At this stage of life, every decision we make, what we eat, when we rest, how we move, carries more weight than it did 20 or 30 years ago. The body slows down. The brain becomes more sensitive, and the heart beats a little more carefully. But the truth is, many seniors still walk through their days trusting old habits, eating what once worked, drinking what once felt fine, believing that natural means safe, never realizing that what used to nourish them might now be quietly harming them. That's the silent danger I've seen too often. People who genuinely want to stay healthy, who choose fruit over candy, juice over soda, who follow the rules, and still find themselves asking, how did this happen? When they wake up in a hospital bed, confused and afraid, it happens because no one told them the whole story. Because food companies put words like natural, no sugar added, or heart healthy on a label, but they don't explain how those foods interact with aging organs, with medications, with the vulnerabilities that come with time. Because the brain doesn't scream when something is wrong, it whispers. Until one day, it doesn't whisper anymore. But it doesn't have to be that way. The most powerful tool for protecting your brain isn't a new pill or an expensive supplement. It's awareness. It's knowing how the foods you eat behave in an older body. It's being willing to replace outdated habits with smarter ones, not out of fear, but out of respect for the amazing, complex, and worthy body you still live in. You don't need to do everything at once. Start small. Maybe tonight, instead of juice, you drink a glass of water. Instead of a bowl of grapes, you try a few almonds and a slice of cheese. Maybe tomorrow morning, you eat a real breakfast. With balance, with protein, with care. You deserve clarity. You deserve strength. You deserve to feel steady, sharp, and in control. Not just for yourself, but for the people who love you and count on you. So before you go, take a moment. Reflect on what you've learned. What's one change you're ready to make this week? I'd love for you to share it in the comments. Write just one sentence. This week, I'm changing, and fill in the rest. Let's support each other. Let's grow together. And if you found this video helpful, please like it, subscribe, share it with someone who needs this message, because the more we understand, the more we can protect what matters most, our memories, our independence, our peace of mind. It's never too late to choose differently. One meal, one moment, one smart decision at a time. Thank you for being here. I'm proud of you. Keep going. You're doing better than you think.